Laziness is something that stops many people from reaching their true potential. It feels comfortable in the moment, but it slowly steals your time, energy, and dreams. If you want to change your life, you need to understand how to break free from it completely. This video will show you simple but powerful ways to overcome laziness, step by step. You will learn how to train your mind, take immediate action, and build habits that keep you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, destroying laziness is not about motivation alone. It's about making real changes in your daily choices and mindset. If you're ready to push past excuses and take control of your future, keep watching. This message will help you start a new path where hard work becomes natural and success is possible for anyone willing to act. Let's get started. Number 1, force yourself to act immediately when you feel delay. If you ever want to build a real life, if you ever want to look in the mirror and feel proud of who's looking back, then you must learn one thing. You must act the very moment you feel yourself pulling away. That feeling, that slight hesitation, that tiny delay, that is the warning sign. That is the moment you're about to lose another hour, another day, another chance. And if you don't step in, if you don't take charge of that moment, you will begin the slow drift into a version of yourself that waits, that overthinks, that never moves. That's how laziness takes hold. Not all at once, not dramatically. It creeps in quietly when you let that one moment pass. You have to train your brain to understand what delay really is. Delay is not rest. Delay is not peace. Delay is avoidance. It is comfort disguised as logic. And if you're not careful, it becomes your default setting. You think you'll get to it later. You think you'll wait until it feels right. But you and I both know it never really feels right, because doing the hard thing never feels easy. Laziness waits for you to give in to that weakness. It feeds off your indecision. It feeds off your doubt. So the answer is action. And not just action when you feel like it. Action, especially when you don't. You've got to build that trigger in your mind. The moment you notice yourself delaying, that is the moment to move. That's not the moment to think it over. That's not the moment to scroll your phone. That's not the moment to make another plan. That is the moment to stand up. That is the moment to walk toward the task. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to feel motivated. You just have to start. Because the moment you act, you take the power back. There is something deeply personal about the decision to move when you want to stand still. It builds self-respect. It builds identity. Every time you move instead of delay, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. You prove that you can lead yourself. You stop relying on feelings and you start living by decisions. That's where growth happens. That's where discipline is formed. Not in what you say you'll do, but in what you do when it's uncomfortable, when it's boring, when no one is watching. The truth is, no one is coming to push you. No one is going to force you to do the work. If you don't make that decision in the quiet moments, when it's just you and the clock ticking, then those moments will pass and you'll feel it again. Regret. And regret doesn't shout. Regret whispers. It whispers in the middle of the night. It whispers when you see others getting ahead. It whispers when you look at yourself and wonder why you're still in the same place. So act before that regret sets in. Move when it's hard. Move when your body wants to stay still. Move before your brain builds a case for quitting. Because your brain will do that. It will give you every reason why now is not the time. It will say you're tired. It will say you're not ready. It will say tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow is built by today's actions. You don't get stronger by waiting. You get stronger by doing. If you're sitting down and you feel that voice inside saying I should get started, then stand up right then. Don't wait to feel motivated. Don't wait for clarity. The clarity comes from doing. The motivation grows after you start. That's what people don't understand. They wait for the feeling, but the feeling follows the action. You move first. You begin, even if it's small, even if it's messy. Just take that first step, and the next one will come easier. This is how you destroy laziness. Not in some grand event, not with some secret trick, but by mastering the moments where your brain tells you to wait. You override it, you interrupt it, you take back control. And the more you do that, the more natural it becomes. It becomes your way of thinking. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop hesitating. You just move. And when that becomes your instinct, laziness has no room to live in you. People often ask how to become disciplined. This is the answer. Discipline is born in these little moments. Discipline is when you feel the delay creeping in and you crush it immediately with movement. You don't leave it to chance. You don't give it space to grow. You shut it down before it begins. And in doing so, you build the muscle of discipline stronger than any words ever could. You want to feel proud of yourself. You want to feel progress in your life. Then stop letting hesitation steal your time. Time is not none and you recover. Once a minute is gone, it's gone. So make the most of every single one. Start now, not later, not when it's easier, not when you feel better. Now, the habit of acting now is more powerful than anything else you can learn. And don't let comfort keep you locked in. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals from your future. It's not about never resting. It's about not resting when you know you should be acting. It's about being honest with yourself. You know when you're stalling. You know when you're making excuses. That's the moment to push back. That's the moment to rise. You are not a machine. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be consistent. You need to take action, even when it's not convenient. That's what separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. And you don't want to stay stuck. Deep down, you want to move. You want to get better. You want to be strong. So use that inner voice, the one that wants better, and let it win. Let it speak louder than your delay. Let it lead. Force yourself to act. That's how you become powerful. That's how you become reliable. That's how you become proud of who you are. Not by dreaming, not by talking, but by moving. Every time you feel delay, act. That's the rule. That's the discipline. That's the life-changing choice. It doesn't come from outside. It comes from you. Now do it. Move, act. Break the pattern. Build the new one. One decision at a time. One action at a time. One moment at a time. That's how laziness loses, and your life begins to rise. Number 2, train your mind daily to reject every lazy thought. Every day, your mind is feeding you ideas. Some are helpful, some are not. Some push you forward, and some try to pull you back. The ones that pull you back often sound convincing. They tell you to relax a little longer. They say you've done enough. They whisper that it's fine to skip this one day. That's the voice you need to defeat. And the only way to defeat it is by training your mind every single day to shut it down before it takes control. You don't become mentally strong by accident. You become mentally strong through practice. Discipline is not a talent. It's a skill, and it's built in moments when you choose to do what is right instead of what is easy. A lazy thought will never knock loudly. It slides in quietly. It sounds harmless, but that's exactly why it wins so often. You don't even realize you've accepted it until it's already taken over your day. You need to build awareness. Start catching those thoughts early. The moment you hear that voice suggesting you avoid the work, stop and question it. Ask yourself what this thought is doing to your progress. Ask if this thought belongs in the mind of someone who wants to grow. If it doesn't, reject it immediately. Don't entertain it. Don't argue with it. Remove it. Your mind is your command center. Whatever it accepts, your body follows. If you feed it weakness, you will feel weak. If you feed it resistance, you will resist growth. But if you train it to choose effort over ease, it will lead you towards strength every time. That training starts with small choices. You hear yourself say, "I don't feel like it," and instead of listening, you respond with, "I'm doing it anyway." Each time you choose the hard thing, your mind takes note. It starts to see that you're serious. It begins to realize that laziness no longer runs the show. And the more you act against those lazy thoughts, the fewer of them you'll hear. They'll still show up, but they won't have power because you've already decided how you live. You've already chosen a standard. Make it your job every morning to strengthen that standard. Don't just wait to see what kind of mindset the day brings. Create it. Direct it. Start the day with a decision. A decision that today you will not tolerate weakness in your thinking. That today you will answer every lazy thought with a clear no. That today you will stick to what builds you even if it's uncomfortable. There's something powerful that happens when you stop letting every thought have a seat at your table. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every idea is worth keeping. Some are planted by fear, some by doubt, some by habit. You have to be the filter. You have to look at what enters your mind and ask one question. Is this helping me or hurting me? And if it's hurting you, it needs to go. Most people never take control of their mental habits. They just respond to whatever comes up. That's why they stay stuck. They allow lazy thoughts to run their schedule. They wait for motivation. They wait for a good mood. They wait until it feels easier. But wait is what keeps you weak. You can't wait for strength. You have to choose it. You have to train for it. There is nothing soft about rejecting the easy way. It takes effort. It takes honesty. It takes daily focus. You don't just work into mental toughness. You build it with intention. You build it by waking up and telling yourself what kind of person you will be today. You build it by setting rules for your mind. And rule number 1 is simple. Lazy thoughts don't belong here. Make that your rule. Make it your code. If a thought tells you to skip your work, reject it. If a thought tells you to stay comfortable, replace it. Replace it with a thought that pulls you forward. A thought that reminds you why you started. A thought that reminds you what's waiting if you keep going. That's the kind of thinking that wins. This is not about being perfect. You will still have moments when lazy thoughts show up. But if you've trained your mind, you'll recognize them. You'll see them for what they are. You'll know they're not your voice. They're the voice of your old patterns. Patterns that no longer serve you. Patterns you've outgrown. It's not enough to work hard once in a while. You have to win the mental battle daily. You have to treat it like a muscle. Because the mind will get weak if you stop using it. And once laziness senses that weakness, it grows fast. It grows in silence, in small moments, in tiny choices. But so does strength. Strength grows the same way, quietly, repeatedly, one disciplined thought at a time. You have to make it personal. Look at your life. Look at the things you want. Then look at the thoughts you allow. Are those thoughts helping you get there? Are they building the version of you that you want to become? If the answer is no, stop giving them space. Stop allowing lazy thinking to shape your life. This is about self-respect. It's about knowing that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides which thoughts stay and which ones go. And if you want to grow, you must become ruthless with your mandates. You must reject the easy path. You must challenge yourself to think stronger, act faster, and choose what's right over what's easy. Every time you train your mind to reject laziness, you gain something more than productivity. You gain power. You gain clarity. You gain momentum. And those things build a life you can be proud of. Not just a life of achievement, but a life of purpose. A life that was created through effort. A life where you took full responsibility for the thoughts that guide you and the actions that follow. You don't need to be gifted. You don't need to be extraordinary. You just need to be willing to train your thinking every day, to push out what holds you back and invite in what moves you forward. That's how you build a strong mind. And with a strong mind, there is nothing you can't face, nothing you can't do, nothing you can't become. Number 3, wake up with a clear reason to take action. When you open your eyes in the morning, the first thing that should hit your mind is not your phone, not the news, not your comfort. It should be your reason. The reason why you can't afford to stay still. The reason why you must get up and move forward. The reason that reminds you that you've still got work to do and progress to make. A clear reason gives your day a direction. Without it, you're just going through the motions, letting your day run you instead of you running it. A person with a reason doesn't stay stuck. They don't stay lost. They know exactly what the next step looks like. If you keep waking up without purpose, you'll keep drifting. And the longer you drift, the further you get from who you could become. You won't find energy in staying comfortable. You won't find motivation by waiting for it to arrive. But when you attach your day to something that matters to you, everything changes. Action doesn't feel forced. It feels necessary. You don't have to push yourself as hard because you already know why you're doing it. It's no longer about trying to survive the day. It's about using it, shaping it, filling it with real progress. Every person who grows builds their day around a purpose. It doesn't have to be something massive. It just has to be clear. It has to mean something to you. Maybe you want to be stronger than you were yesterday. Maybe you want to become the person your family can count on. Maybe you're chasing excellence in your craft. Whatever it is, define it, hold it. Say it to yourself every single morning. Let it be the first thought you invite into your mind. Before doubt, before laziness, before comfort sneaks in. Laziness feeds off confusion. It grows stronger when you don't have a reason to resist it. If your days don't start with clarity, they'll get filled with distractions. You'll do what's easy. You'll do what's convenient. And at the end of the day, you'll wonder where the time went. You'll feel tired but unfulfilled. Busy but not better. And that feeling of regret will grow. The way to stop that is by anchoring your mornings in purpose. Not by waiting for the world to give you meaning, but by deciding what matters most and letting that lead your choices. There's a noticeable difference between people who just wake up and people who wake up with intention. You can see it in how they carry themselves. One group moves slow, avoids pressure, wastes hours. The other group starts strong, stays alert, and handles the day like it matters. That mindset is not built overnight. It's built through repetition. It's built through deciding every single day what the goal is and why it's worth fighting for. If you struggle in the morning, it's not because you're weak. It's because your reason isn't clear enough. You haven't yet made your goal urgent. You haven't made it personal. The clearer your reason, the easier it is to act. You won't question whether to get up. You won't argue with yourself about what to do next. You'll already know. That clarity becomes your compass. It keeps you on track, even when the day gets hard. It keeps you grounded when distractions try to pull you away. Many people say they want change, but don't set their mind to it when the day begins. They hit snooze. They stall. They hope motivation will catch up. But the people who truly want change wake up with that change already in their mind. They wake up with a plan. They remind themselves what's at stake. They don't start slow. They start sharp because they know momentum is built early. The way you begin your morning shapes how you handle your choices. If you start unfocused, your day will be reactive. If you start strong, your day will be intentional. Don't wait until noon to decide what matters. Decide at the moment you rise. Remind yourself what you're building. Remind yourself why it matters now, not someday, now. That urgency turns actions into habits and habits into results. Set a rule for yourself. When you wake up, give yourself one clear reason to act. Say it out loud. Write it down. Keep it visible. You'll be amazed how different your mindset becomes when you stop starting your day in silence. Noise from the world will fill your mind quickly if you let it. Start with your voice. Start with your mission. Set the tone before the world sets it for you. The difference between wasted potential and fulfilled growth is often in the first hour of the day. That's when decisions are made. That's when direction is chosen. Make it count. Use those moments to step into the day with clarity. That clarity gives you courage. It gives you focus. It helps you say no to what's unnecessary and yes to what moves you forward. Nobody rises by accident. They rise because they know exactly why they can't stay where they are. They rise because they've looked at their future and realized it doesn't build itself. They rise because there is something in them too important to ignore. You have that same power, but it begins with what you tell yourself when the day starts. You don't need everything figured out. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to begin with something real, something true, a reason that matters. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's that quiet hunger inside that says you were made for more. Whatever it is, let it guide you. Let it push you to move. Let it remind you that every morning is another chance to get closer to the life you said you wanted. That reason must become part of your identity. Not a wish, not a dream, a responsibility, a commitment, something that calls you out of bed not because it's easy but because it matters. That's how you destroy excuses. That's how you kill comfort. That's how you beat laziness before it starts. You start with reason. You start with purpose. You start with a decision to move not later, but now. There are people who wake up hoping their day will go, and there are people who wake up ready to make their day count. Be the second kind. Be the one who decides, not waits. Be the one who acts with clarity, not confusion. Be the one who moves forward with discipline, not delay. You already have what it takes, but you have to remind yourself why it matters every single morning. Before anything else touches your day, before the world reaches you, you speak to yourself first, with a reason, with urgency, with intention. That's how your life begins to change, one clear reason at a time. Number 4. Remove every excuse and do what must be done. The difference between people who move ahead in life and those who stay stuck often comes down to one thing: excuses. Excuses sound reasonable. They feel comfortable. They give you a reason to stay still. But deep down, you know they are lies. You tell yourself to avoid effort. If you want to grow, you must stop giving space to any excuse, no matter how small it seems. You must replace every justification with action. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a strong decision. You need the strength to face what you've been avoiding and do it anyway. Every time you allow an excuse to win, you give away power. You hand over control of your life to something outside yourself. Whether it's "I'm tired" or "I don't know where to start." The moment you let that sentence live in your mind, you begin to drift. But life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Progress doesn't show up when the conditions are perfect. The people who achieve more are the ones who decide to move forward even when it's hard. Even when it's unclear. Even when it's uncomfortable. They act anyway. It's easy to talk about change. It's easy to imagine a better future. But if you keep allowing yourself to delay, nothing changes. Every goal requires responsibility. It demands that you face your task head on. You will never feel like doing it all the time. But the moment you decide to remove the excuses, you give yourself permission to rise. You give yourself the chance to become who you were meant to be. Action builds belief. When you show up and do what needs to be done, you prove to yourself that you are no longer controlled by your feelings. Excuses are a trap, disguised as logic. They keep you safe, but they also keep you small. "I'm too busy. I don't have the tools. It's not the right time." These phrases are not facts. They're decisions. When you say them, you are choosing to stay stuck. You are choosing to accept less than what you're capable of. But you have another option. You can look at the task, strip away the noise, and say to yourself, "This needs to be done, and I am the one who will do it." People often think they need more motivation, more time, more clarity. What they really need is commitment. They need to draw a line in the sand and say, "From this moment forward, I stop running." When you commit to doing what must be done, no excuse is strong enough to stop you. You find the time. You figure out the steps. You make progress, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You stop making room for laziness and start building habits that match the life you want. You cannot build a strong life on weak decisions. You cannot reach your highest potential while entertaining every excuse that tries to protect your comfort. Growth comes when you decide that your goals matter more than your reasons to avoid them. If it needs to be done, you do it. If it's uncomfortable, you face it. That is the mindset of someone who breaks through. That is the standard that creates momentum. And once you move with that kind of intention, your excuses lose their power. Excuses don't just hold you back. They affect how you see yourself. When you constantly tell yourself why you can't do something, you begin to believe that you are not capable. That belief turns into your identity. And once that identity takes root, your actions follow. But when you choose to act without excuse, you shift your identity too. You start to believe in your strength, not your struggle. You build a reputation with yourself that says, "I show up, I finish, I follow through." The great achievers of the world are not people who had perfect plans. They were people who refused to keep making excuses. They made the call. They got up earlier. They stayed a little longer. They did the work even when it felt boring or hard. They focused on what needed to be done instead of how they felt about it. That is the real path to success. Not talk, not delay, not excuse, but action, consistency, and ownership. Every time you push past an excuse and take action, you train your mind to respond with discipline. Discipline is not a talent, it's a habit. It's built through small daily choices, and one of the most powerful choices you can make is to stop justifying delay and start taking control. The moment you say no more to the stories you've been telling yourself, you reclaim your direction. If you want to build something great in your life, your health, your income, your skills, you have to become the kind of person who moves without needing permission. You have to become the one who doesn't wait for perfect moments. You do the hard thing now because it will lead to strength later. You make the call now. You show up now. You give your best now. That's how you build pride. That's how you build confidence. Not through perfect days, but through decisive action. Start where you are. Use what you have. Stop telling yourself it's not enough. Every time you say you're not ready, remind yourself that readiness comes through action, not waiting. Stop wondering if you can and start proving that you will. Set a rule in your life that says, if it matters, I do it. Hold yourself to that standard. Measure your days not by how you feel, but by what you finished. Let your results speak louder than your reasons. There will always be a reason to wait. There will always be a reason to stay still. But that voice in you, the thing that wants more, the one that refuses to settle, it's telling you something real. It's telling you that you were not built for excuses. You were built for execution. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You don't need more comfort. You need more responsibility. Remove the option of excuse from your mind. Don't give it a place to stay. Make your standard higher than your feelings. Say to yourself, I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how tired I feel. If it needs to be done, I will do it. When you live by that rule, your progress becomes unstoppable. Your mind becomes clear. Your decisions become simple. You either act or you don't. And when you choose action, again and again, your life begins to reflect the power of that choice. Number 5, set painful deadlines that leave no escape option. Deadlines are not just dates on a calendar. They are agreements with yourself that something important must be finished by a certain moment. If there is no urgency, the mind relaxes and laziness creeps in. You start telling yourself you'll do it later, and then later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week turns into never. The only way to stop that cycle is to make a firm, unbreakable commitment. A deadline that pushes you forward and does not allow comfort to interfere. When you set a deadline that actually matters, one that feels uncomfortable, you give your brain no choice but to focus. There is pressure, and that pressure creates energy. The problem most people have is they set soft deadlines. Deadlines that are flexible. Deadlines that leave room for excuses. You can't grow that way. You have to create deadlines that cause tension. You have to raise the standard to a level where not finishing is simply not an option. It must feel like something is on the line. Maybe it's your word. Maybe it's your integrity. Maybe it's the disappointment of not becoming who you said you would be. Painful deadlines are not there to punish you. They are there to protect you. They protect your vision from being lost to procrastination. They protect your future from being hijacked by distraction. If there's no pain for being late, you will continue to drift. If there's no demand, your mind will choose the easier path. The only way to stay sharp is to set the kind of deadline that forces you to move. You don't need endless time. You need intense focus. But focus comes when the task has weight. And that weight comes from a deadline that demands your energy now, not someday. There is a difference between working on something casually and working on something with fire. That fire only appears when you know the time is short and the consequence is real. You perform differently. You think faster. You stop overthinking and start executing. That's how you break laziness. You trap yourself in commitment. The goal is not to live under constant pressure. The goal is to use pressure wisely, to build strength, to develop consistency, and to learn how to move even when comfort tries to pull you back. A painful deadline is not cruel. It's honest. It reflects what you value. It reflects how serious you are. If you can move the deadline without feeling anything, then you haven't really committed. If you can miss the deadline and sleep peacefully, then you haven't attached enough meaning to the result. People often underestimate how powerful a self-imposed, non-negotiable deadline can be. When you say this will be done by Friday at 5 p.m., no matter what, and you mean it, you shift into a different mode. Distractions become irrelevant. Emotions take a back seat. Time becomes your most valuable asset, and you begin to guard it fiercely. That's when you start building a level of discipline that laziness cannot compete with. Don't wait for someone else to pressure you. Don't expect life to create urgency for you. If you're serious about changing, you must build that urgency inside your own schedule. Give yourself a time limit. Make it public if needed. Attach consequences if that helps. But do whatever it takes to eliminate the option of delay. When you cut off escape, your only option is forward. And in that space, something inside you changes. You discover that you're far more capable than you thought. You learn that action doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from deciding to be responsible. Look back at your life. Think about how many dreams were left untouched because the timeline was always extended. Think about the goals that kept getting pushed to next month, next year. It's not because you didn't care. It's because there was no urgency. A painful deadline creates that urgency. It draws a line in your mind. It says, enough waiting. Now is the time. The discomfort that comes from a tight deadline is not something to avoid. It is something to lean into. That discomfort wakes you up. It keeps you alert. It forces your priorities to the surface. You can no longer hide behind busyness or confusion. You know what must be done, and you know when it must be finished. That clarity fuels action. That pressure eliminates indecision. Laziness survives when time feels unlimited. It survives when the rules are flexible. To destroy it, you must tighten the frame. You must narrow your focus. You must give yourself less time and higher expectations. That's how momentum is built. That's how you turn days into progress, not just passing time. Make the deadline real. Make it sharp. Make it painful to miss. Don't aim for comfort. Aim for growth, and growth requires pressure. You've got to put something at stake. It could be your self-respect. It could be your goal. It could be your future income. Whatever it is, make it feel important, because when it matters deeply, you move. You stop waiting. You start producing. That shift changes everything. Deadlines must become sacred to you. They must mean something. You should not be able to relax when you break one. You should feel the cost of delay. Not to beat yourself up, but to remind yourself that you are playing for something real. Laziness doesn't survive when your deadlines are tied to your identity. If being a person of action matters to you, then missing a deadline should feel like betraying yourself. That's how you keep your fire alive. You don't need 100 plans. You need one serious timeline and the courage to follow it. You don't need more motivation. You need commitment. And that commitment shows itself in how you treat your time. If you treat your time like it's cheap, laziness will always find a way in. But if you treat your time like it's precious, you will stop tolerating delay. You will act now. You will finish. You will rise. That is the kind of person deadlines create. That is the kind of mindset that destroys laziness. Number 6. Challenge your comfort by choosing discomfort every single day. Most people never move forward because they are always seeking comfort. They build their entire life around avoiding stress, avoiding pressure, avoiding anything that feels hard. But growth does not happen inside a comfortable space. Growth begins the moment you step into something that doesn't feel easy. If you want to break laziness, you have to do what's uncomfortable on purpose. Not once, not when you feel like it. Every single day. It could be something small like waking up before the sun. It could be pushing yourself to speak up when you'd rather stay quiet. It could be making that hard phone call you've been avoiding. It's not about how big the discomfort is. It's about the fact that you chose it. You didn't wait for it. You didn't hide from it. You stepped toward it and faced it. That moment builds something inside you that no comfort ever will. It builds a kind of inner toughness that laziness can't stand against. Comfort is sneaky. It looks harmless, but slowly it makes you soft. Slowly it lowers your standards. Slowly it kills your urgency. Every time you say this is enough and stop short of pushing yourself, you strengthen the habit of quitting. You don't always see it immediately, but over time it becomes your default. You stop expecting more from yourself. You start settling for what's easy. That's how laziness takes over your life. But you can change that. You can reverse it. You can train your mind to expect challenge and lean into it. Every day you can put yourself through something hard, something that demands your full attention and energy. And you don't do it because you enjoy pain. You do it because it strengthens the muscle of discipline. It sharpens your focus. It gives you a reason to rise above mediocrity. That daily act of choosing discomfort rewires your thinking. It makes the hard things feel normal, and the more normal they feel, the less control laziness has over you. You don't destroy laziness with comfort. You destroy it by raising the standard of how you live. That means showing up when you're tired. That means doing the work even when your emotions are against you. That means pushing when everyone else is relaxing. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you look at comfort as the enemy and discomfort as the path. That shift in mindset is the beginning of real change. When you go to the gym and your muscles burn, that's where progress begins. When you study instead of scrolling your phone, that's where your mind becomes sharper. When you walk into that meeting prepared and confident, even though you were nervous, that's where your worth is built. Discomfort is a tool. It's not something to avoid. It's something to use. Every time you use it, you take a step forward. You move closer to the person you want to become. People want change without challenge. They want results without discomfort. That equation doesn't work. You cannot improve your life by staying where it feels safe. The discomfort is where your growth lives. If you wake up each morning and ask, what's something hard I can face today? You start leading your life instead of reacting to it. You stop being a victim of laziness and start becoming a person of action. You might feel resistance. That's normal. Your brain will try to talk you out of doing the uncomfortable thing. It will say, do it tomorrow, or this is too much today, or just take it easy right now. And that's where you have to be stronger than your feelings. That's where you say, I'm not looking for ease. I'm building something inside me. That voice in your head is not your enemy. It's your test. You overcome it by doing the hard thing anyway. The people you admire, the ones who live with purpose and strength, they didn't get there through comfort. They got there by making hard choices over and over. They trained themselves to go through, though others avoid. They stopped running from discomfort and started using it as a teacher. You can do the same. You can make discomfort your ally. Every time you choose the harder path, you're becoming someone who can be trusted with responsibility and success. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait until you feel ready. Use action to create momentum. Use discomfort to wake yourself up. Your potential doesn't live in ease. It lives in the challenge. It lives in the early mornings, the long hours, the hard conversations, the extra mile. When you make those choices part of your day, you no longer fear them. You become stronger than them. That's how you build discipline that lasts. Comfort will always be available. It will always tempt you. But if you want something different for your life, you have to stop saying yes to the easy way. The easy way leads to regret. The hard way builds pride. Every day you choose discomfort, you are saying yes to your goals. You are saying yes to your future. You are saying no to every excuse that wants to slow you down. Start with one hard thing, just one, and do it without delay. Then do another and another. Make discomfort part of who you are. Not occasionally, but consistently. Train your mind to seek challenge. Train your body to endure stress. Train your emotions to stay steady under pressure. That's the life you build when you choose discomfort on purpose. That's how you rise. That's how you overcome laziness and step into the kind of life that makes you proud. Number 7, repeat small, hard tasks till your brain adapts fully. Laziness doesn't go away with one big decision. It doesn't disappear because you read something powerful or had a great day. It fades when you teach your brain to expect effort. And the way you do that is by picking something difficult, something that takes real focus, and repeating it until your brain sees it as normal. This is not about doing one big thing and hoping it changes you. It's about doing one small hard thing over and over until the resistance loses its power. It could be something as simple as making your bed the moment you get up. It could be writing one page of your goals every morning. It could be preparing your meals every night, even when you're tired. These don't seem like much at first, but that's the point. Small tasks that are hard to stick to, those are your tools. You repeat them not because they're dramatic, but because they slowly change how your brain responds to effort. When something hard becomes automatic, laziness has less room to operate. Your brain is always adapting. If you feed it comfort, it learns to avoid pressure. If you feed it discomfort in small doses, it begins to adjust. What felt difficult last week starts to feel easier. Not because the task changed, but because you changed. You built endurance by showing up. You taught your mind that quitting isn't the option, and that training rewires your habits. That's how discipline is formed. Not by motivation, but by repetition. You don't need to do everything at once. That's where people fail. They try to fix their entire life in 1 week, but they burn out. Because the foundation isn't strong. Real change happens when you repeat something so consistently that your brain accepts it as the new normal. You don't argue with yourself anymore. You don't overthink it, you just do it. That's the goal. To turn what feels hard today into something automatic tomorrow. There's power in doing something daily that challenges you just enough. Not so much that it crushes your will, but enough that it stretches you. And the magic is in the repetition, because repetition creates familiarity. And when your brain is familiar with effort, it stops fighting it. That's when you start to move forward more easily. Not because life gets easier, but because you became tougher. You trained your brain to stop looking for shortcuts. Most people wait for life to force them to change. But the smart ones, the disciplined ones, they don't wait. They create their own training. They say, this is what I'll do every day, no matter what. And they follow through. That act of repeating a small, hard task builds self-respect. It makes you trust yourself again. It tells your brain that you're someone who finishes. That belief will push you further than motivation ever could. If you feel lazy, start small. Pick one hard task that makes you uncomfortable and do it today. Then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Track it. Measure it. But most importantly, don't skip it. Even when you don't feel like it. Even when it feels pointless. That act of showing up trains your mind to follow your commands instead of your feelings. Feelings change. Habits stay. That's what you're building. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's not about doing something for 5 hours. It's about doing something for 5 minutes every day without missing. That 5 minutes, if hard enough and repeated long enough, will shape how you think and act. And once your brain adapts to one hard task, you can add another, then another. You grow stronger not by leaps, but by layers. Each layer builds on the last. The mistake people make is they look for motivation before action. That order doesn't work. Action comes first. Repetition is the key, and when you do it often enough, something inside you starts to shift. Your standards rise. Your attention sharpens. Your resistance fades. That's not luck. That's earned. That's the reward of persistence. You don't need a dramatic wake-up call. You need discipline. You need one hard task, repeated enough times, that your brain stops seeing it as optional. And when that happens, you've created a new version of yourself. One that acts, not one that delays. One that builds, not one that complains. One that leads, not one that escapes. This is the version of you that destroys laziness and replaces it with momentum. Start by mastering one moment of your day. Maybe it's the first thing in the morning. Maybe it's how you handle distraction. Pick it. Own it. Repeat it. Make it your foundation. Then expand from there. You don't have to fix everything now. You just have to get stronger in one place. Then you use that strength to build the next level. That's how real growth happens. Repetition isn't boring when you understand what it builds. It builds identity. It builds clarity. It builds belief. Each day you repeat a hard task. You are telling your brain, this is who I am now, and your brain listens. It adjusts. It shifts your habits to match your new identity, and laziness starts to fade. Not because you tried to kill it in one battle, but because you starved it over time. Even when no one is watching, you keep doing the hard thing, because it's not about approval. It's about transformation. It's about proving to yourself that you can lead your own life, that you're not at the mercy of comfort, that you can face resistance and still act. That's power. That's discipline. That's freedom. You earn it by repetition. And once you earn it, no one can take it from you. Number 8. Destroy lazy habits by replacing them with strict routines. Breaking free from laziness isn't about waiting for motivation or hoping for a sudden change in feelings. It's about deliberately changing what you do every single. Laziness grows quietly when there is no structure or routine to hold you accountable. The most effective way to stop laziness is to build strict routines that guide your actions automatically. When your day is filled with clear, non-negotiable routines, lazy habits have no room to grow. The moment you realize your habits shape your life, you understand the importance of routines. Habits work behind the scenes. They drive your decisions and actions without you even noticing. When those habits are lazy, they lead you to delay and avoid. When those habits are disciplined, they push you forward consistently. You can't just will yourself out of laziness. You must build routines that force discipline into your life until it becomes a habit. Start by analyzing your current habits. Identify moments where laziness sneaks in. Maybe it's waking up late, scrolling through your phone instead of working, or putting off important tasks. Once you know where lazy habits live, you can design strict routines that replace those moments. This isn't about random actions. It's about building a schedule that demands your full commitment. Routines should be clear and simple. They must be practical enough to follow every day without confusion. When a routine is vague or flexible, it's easy to break. But when a routine is strict and clear, it leaves no room for excuses. For example, instead of saying I will exercise more, commit to I will exercise at 6 a.m. for 30 minutes. That kind of precision guides your brain to act instead of debate. Consistency is the backbone of routine. Doing something once won't change your habits. You must repeat the routine day after day without skipping. Every day you stick to your routine. You weaken lazy habits a little more. Over time, those routines become automatic. You don't have to think twice before acting. Your body and mind know exactly what to do. That's the power of replacing lazy habits with strict routines. Some people resist routines because they feel rigid or boring. But discipline isn't about enjoyment in the moment. It's about long-term freedom. A strict routine feels uncomfortable at first because it demands focus and sacrifice. But that discomfort is temporary. The benefits last much longer. Once you master your routine, laziness loses its hold. Your actions become intentional and powerful. Create routines that cover the most important parts of your day. Morning routines set the tone for productivity and focus. Evening routines prepare your mind for rest and recovery. Work routines eliminate procrastination and build momentum. Even routines for breaks or meals create structure that protects you from drifting into laziness. The key is to fill your day with routines that support your goals and values. Accountability helps routines stick. When you commit to a routine publicly or with a partner, you increase your chances of following through. Share your plans with someone who will check in on your progress. Use a journal or app to track your routines every day. Seeing your progress and failures clearly helps you stay honest with yourself. This honesty builds stronger habits and makes routines part of your identity. You might fail some days. That is normal. What matters is how you respond. Do not let one missed routine turn into a week of excuses. Get back on track immediately. The strict routine you build is your foundation, not your punishment. Use it as a tool to create momentum, not as a source of guilt. The goal is progress, not perfection. Routines don't have to be complicated or long. Even 10 minutes of focused work on a priority task can beat hours of distracted effort. Find what works for you and make it non-negotiable. A strict routine is your commitment to yourself to act even when motivation fades. It's the difference between a dream that stays distant and a dream that becomes real. Replacing lazy habits with strict routines rewires your brain's default settings. Laziness thrives on chaos and uncertainty. Structure and discipline leave no space for laziness to grow root. The more you rely on routines, the less you depend on willpower. When the hard choices are already made for you, Your mind uses energy on growth and success instead of fighting itself. The real power of routines is how they shape identity. Each time you follow a strict routine, you tell yourself who you are. You become the person who shows up, who keeps promises, who does what must be done. That identity sticks because it is built on repeated actions, not empty words. This new identity pushes out lazy habits naturally. Imagine your day filled with purpose-driven routines. Each task flows into the next without hesitation. Your mind stays focused because it knows the plan. You no longer waste time deciding what to do next or convincing yourself to start. The routines carry you forward even when your feelings don't cooperate. This is what it means to destroy laziness through strict routines. Begin now by choosing one small area of your day where laziness is strongest. Build a strict routine for that moment. Practice it daily. Watch how it changes your energy, focus, and results. Add more routines gradually until your whole day is guided by deliberate habits. The power to defeat laziness is in the structure you create. No more waiting for motivation. No more excuses. Just routines that demand action and deliver freedom. Number 9, move your body the moment your mind says no. When the mind resists, the body often holds the key to breaking through that resistance. Laziness frequently starts with a mental refusal. That feeling of not wanting to do something. The voice inside that says it's too hard or not worth the effort. But physical movement can disrupt that mental block and reset your energy and focus immediately. Moving your body right when your mind says no is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to destroy laziness. It forces your system into action, even when your thoughts try to keep you still. The moment you feel that urge to delay or avoid, stand up and move in any way possible. This does not require a full workout or complicated exercise plan. It can be as simple as walking around the room, stretching, or doing a few deep breaths, combined with movement. This physical action signals your brain that something is happening, and it cannot stay stuck in inactivity. Moving your body activates blood flow, releases tension, and clears mental fog. These changes bring new energy and mental clarity that silence excuses and procrastination. Many people underestimate how connected body and mind are. The mind controls the body, but the body also influences the mind. When your body stays still, your brain often follows with inactivity. But when your body starts moving, your mind gets a fresh burst of signals that break patterns of hesitation. It's a feedback loop. Physical movement increases alertness and improves mood by releasing natural chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. These chemicals boost motivation and help you push through resistance. The key is immediate response. Laziness loves delay and waiting for motivation to magically appear. The longer you sit or stay still after your mind says no, the stronger the lazy habit becomes. But when you move right away, you interrupt the cycle. This creates momentum that carries you into action. It becomes easier to continue working or completing tasks because your body and mind are already engaged. This technique is simple but effective because it requires no waiting for inspiration or motivation. It demands only one thing: movement. Movement also improves focus. When the mind is clouded by distraction or fatigue, standing up and moving resets attention. It forces your brain to switch gears and focus on the present moment. This reset helps you break mental loops of doubt and hesitation. With clearer focus, tasks seem less overwhelming and more manageable. You don't get stuck in endless thinking about why you shouldn't start. Instead, your energy turns toward figuring out how to begin and keep going. Even small movements can lead to big changes. You don't need to exercise for hours or push yourself to exhaustion. 5 minutes of walking, stretching, or shaking out your limbs can be enough to break laziness. The important part is to take action immediately when your mind signals resistance. This small habit trains your body and brain to refuse the lazy option. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your first instinct when faced with avoidance shifts from inaction to movement. Incorporate this habit throughout your day. When you feel stuck on a difficult task, take a short movement break instead of giving up. When tiredness tempts you to quit, stand and move. Even before starting work in the morning, move your body to wake yourself up. These movements create a pattern of discipline that trains your whole system to stay active, despite mental resistance. Laziness loses power when you consistently override it with movement. This practice also changes how you feel physically and emotionally. Physical inactivity contributes to feelings of lethargy, low mood, and anxiety. All things that deepen laziness. Moving the body improves circulation and oxygen flow, which energizes every cell. It also reduces stress and calms the nervous system. When your body feels good, your mind follows. This creates a positive cycle where movement supports motivation, and motivation encourages more movement. Your mood and energy lift naturally when you take care of your body through action. You can use movement strategically to prepare for challenging moments. Before facing a tough conversation, task, or workout, spend a few minutes moving your body to prime your system. This makes it easier to face discomfort and uncertainty. When mental resistance is strongest, moving becomes a tool to push through fear, doubt, or fatigue. It's a physical way to tell yourself that you are ready and capable. You may notice the mind protesting more intensely the first few times you force movement. When it wants to rest or delay, that resistance is normal because you are breaking old habits. But don't let that stop you. Keep moving even if your thoughts try to convince you otherwise. Each time you override mental resistance with action, you gain strength and resilience. Your brain rewires itself to favor doing over delaying. Consistency is crucial. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily discipline. Make moving your body the default reaction to mental no. With practice, you build new neural pathways that support productivity and energy. Laziness fades because your brain and body learn that the option to stay still is no longer acceptable. This habit can be a gateway to more disciplined routines. Once you begin moving when your mind resists, you create space for other positive habits to grow. Movement wakes up your system, making it easier to sit down and focus or tackle other responsibilities. It's a powerful step that breaks the cycle of avoidance and keeps you moving toward your goals. Movement can also be simple moments of joy. Dancing, stretching, or taking a quick walk outside connects you with your body and surroundings. These moments remind you that action doesn't have to be a chore. They bring energy and life back into your day, replacing the dullness that laziness creates. When you combine immediate physical movement with mental focus, you reclaim control over your habits. Laziness loses because you refuse to listen to its excuses. You choose action over delay. You prove to yourself every day that your willpower is stronger than your doubt. This practice shows respect for your body and mind. It recognizes that both need care and attention to perform well. Moving your body the moment your mind says no is a statement of commitment to yourself. It's a promise that you will not settle for less than your best. It's the foundation for growth, success, and fulfillment. The power lies in starting now without waiting for a better mood or perfect moment. When the mind says no, move your body. Take that first step. That one action triggers progress and breaks the hold of laziness. Over time, those small steps add up to lasting change that transforms your life. Number 10. Remind yourself daily that comfort kills your future. Comfort can feel safe and inviting, but it quietly stops progress and destroys potential. Every time you choose ease over effort, you move further from your goals without realizing it. The truth is, the life you want doesn't come from resting in comfort zones. Comfort creates a prison where dreams fade and opportunities pass by unnoticed. Reminding yourself daily that comfort kills your future is the key to breaking free from laziness and creating a life worth living. This is not about harsh punishment, but honest awareness. When you realize that comfort is the enemy of growth, your mind begins to shift. The problem with comfort is how subtle it is. It sneaks in through small choices, skipping that extra hour of work, avoiding difficult conversations, choosing the couch over action. These choices add up, stealing days, months, and years of progress. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it's a lie that costs you your future happiness and success. The biggest barrier between where you are and where you want to be is often the invisible trap of comfort. Recognizing this trap every day helps you fight against it. Awareness starts with daily reminders. You must make it a habit to speak this truth to yourself. Write it down, say it aloud, or reflect on it during quiet moments. When the temptation to stay comfortable arises, this reminder becomes your anchor. It pulls you back to reality and forces you to choose action instead of ease. The more consistently you remind yourself, the stronger your resistance to comfort becomes. This creates a mental toughness that builds over time. Your future depends on choices made right now. Comfort teaches you to wait, to settle, and to avoid challenge. It promises peace, but delivers regret. When you decide to ignore comfort's call, you say yes to growth and opportunity. The difference between a life of achievement and a life of regret is how often you choose discomfort over comfort. This choice happens repeatedly, daily, in small moments that shape your path. Choosing discomfort is not easy. It asks you to face fear, uncertainty, and hard work. But discomfort is where progress lives. Every success story begins with discomfort. You must learn to accept this as part of the process. Growth does not happen in easy conditions. It requires struggle and sacrifice. When comfort feels tempting, remind yourself that the life you want demands discomfort. This mindset turns pain into purpose and struggle into strength. Your brain naturally seeks comfort because it protects you from harm. But this instinct can be a trap when you want more from life. You must train your mind to see discomfort as a sign of progress rather than danger. Discomfort means you are pushing boundaries and expanding your limit. This shift in perspective is critical. Instead of avoiding discomfort, you begin to welcome it as proof that you are moving forward. Comfort also dulls creativity and ambition. When life is easy and predictable, your mind stops searching for solutions or new ideas. Comfort zones breed complacency, but the future belongs to those who keep challenging themselves and thinking bigger. Reminding yourself that comfort kills your future helps maintain hunger for improvement. This hunger fuels innovation and problem solving. Building this awareness changes your daily habit. You become intentional about seeking challenges and growth opportunities. You stop making excuses to stay comfortable. Instead, you develop discipline to do what is necessary even when it is uncomfortable. This discipline becomes the foundation of long-term success and fulfillment. It protects you from drifting into laziness and mediocrity. Physical and mental comfort often go hand in hand. When you make excuses to rest unnecessarily or avoid effort, your mind becomes lazy. This laziness spreads into all areas of life, lowering your standards and expectations. On the other hand, pushing past comfort strengthens willpower and mental toughness. Every time you choose to act despite discomfort, you build resilience. This resilience becomes your armor against future challenges and setbacks. You are responsible for your future. No one else can make the choices that build your dreams. The people who succeed don't have special luck or talent. They make difficult decisions repeatedly and refuse to settle for comfort. Daily reminders about comfort's danger help you stay on that path. They guide you back when you feel tempted to give up or rest too long. This practice also connects deeply to self-respect. When you choose discomfort for growth, you honor your potential. You show yourself that your goals matter more than temporary ease. This respect strengthens confidence and motivation. It reminds you that you deserve success and are willing to work for it. Without this inner respect, laziness and comfort will keep winning. Every morning and evening, take a moment to reflect on this truth. Ask yourself if your actions today pushed you closer to your goals, or if comfort took control. Use this reflection to adjust your habits and mindset. Over time, you will notice a shift in how you approach challenges. They become opportunities rather than obstacles. Remember that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of pushing through it are lasting. The pain of effort passes, but the satisfaction of achievement remains. Your future self will thank you for every uncomfortable moment you chose growth. These moments build a life full of meaning, success, and pride. Replace old thoughts that glorify comfort with new beliefs that honor discomfort. Repeat to yourself daily that comfort kills your future and discomfort builds it. This repetition rewires your brain for action and perseverance. It keeps you alert to lazy patterns and helps you stay focused on your goals. Your future is shaped by the choices you make now. Each time you resist comfort, you invest in your dreams. Each time you embrace discomfort, you build strength. This cycle of choosing growth over ease is the foundation of every great achievement. Keep reminding yourself of this every day and let it fuel your journey forward.